What's up, Kate Insider fans? It's the Beast, Brian London, and it's the day after Miami beat Florida 21-16 at Sun Life Stadium. And, Saturday after the game, I didn't have time to write a column because I had to fly right over to the Ticket, the radio station, to do a post-game show, which was a lot of fun, obviously. And then last night I got home and I was just burnt. My brain hurt from the day. Because, I know a lot of you, in retrospect, will look at that game yesterday and feel like it was a ton of fun, but for me, it wasn't. Those games that come down to the last few minutes, those games that are close, that are nail-biters, they take everything out of me, especially since, when you're in the press box, you can't cheer, so it's not like I can let my emotions out and kind of release all that energy. I have to kind of sit there and work. So it's a little bit different for me. So yesterday I was just done. And then today, the day after the game, I get up and I decide, before I write anything for Kane Insider, let me hear what Al Golden has to say the day after. He's watched the film. Let's see if there's any injury news. Let's see what's going on. So his teleconference was at 3:15 Sunday, and here we are a couple hours after that. And I sat in front of the computer for about an hour, and I wrote maybe 3 different versions of a column, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the direction I was going. So I said to myself, well, how do we do this? And I said, well, the best thing I can do is talk. I can talk much better than I can write. So here we go. This is my thoughts in the aftermath. I'm still probably going to write a column either tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, where I can just clear my head and just start again. But here we go. A few things in no particular order. Al Golden, I asked him point blank, hey, are you worried about Stephen Morris being on the same page as those receivers? And Al basically cut me off and said, hey, I'm not gonna even bite on that one, and said he wasn't worried about it. And matter of fact, credited James Coley again about, listen, hey, offense isn't working. Don't just start chucking it down the field. The offensive play calling was patient, and it ended up working for us, and the defense held out and we won the game. But I don't want to, I'm never that guy that questions coordinators. I hate when people rip play calling because I feel like there's a lot more to it than those of us that play, college football on EA or Madden. There's a lot more than pressing buttons. So I never want to be that guy, but there's just something there that's not right. Now, I think it's completely correctable, especially here in the bye week. And I think it's something where Stephen Morris can take a deep breath, can have some time, can spend time throwing with his receivers, kind of take a little refresher course, and get back on track. And I really still think this offense can be special. I really do. Now, speaking of the offense, Stacey Coley yesterday, he wasn't out there much, and that was by plan. Al Golden said, listen, the freshman, Stacey Coley, the Artie Burns, the Gus Edwards of the group, like the setting for them probably a little too big right now in their second game of their career. So, if they didn't get as many plays yesterday, that was probably not a bad thing. So, but Al Golden said this week he's going to really rely on a lot of the freshmen to play catch-up, to really get comfortable so that they can be huge helps the rest of the season. As far as injuries go, we saw Rayshon Jenkins go out for a time and then come back. Ladarius Gunter go out for a time and come back. Duke, it looked like he got nicked up a little bit and then he got on the bike and came back. Nothing serious. As a matter of fact, Duke Johnson was the first one in for treatment today at 9:30 a.m., and Al Golden got a text from the trainers at all as well. So that is good. Meanwhile, how about this nugget? This is some little bravado, a little some brass ones by Al Golden. When Al Golden puts the schedule for the season, meaning practices, meetings, all that, together in the spring, he is that detail-oriented, okay? Everything is planned out, minute by minute, and trust me, I can tell you it's the case. And he said on his calendar, if you go look, he prepared for a victory against Florida. Because he said, I knew that we were going to win this game, and I wanted the day after a game to be a work day for this team, because I knew that if we won the game, that our team would be, high and mighty and feel great about themselves. So I wanted them to have to come in and work the next day. That way they keep grounded. he said, listen, we don't want Mardi Gras. We don't want 7 days of a celebration after beating Florida. Big win, but again, so far to go. And Al Golden knew that back in May, and that's why he made Sunday a work day. Now, we haven't gotten the schedule for the rest of the week, so I can't tell you how many practices they're going to have this week and when they're going to be off or not, but obviously Al Golden wants to utilize the bye week to get work done, not just to fuddle around and wait for Savannah State to come on down. So that's the deal with that. I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, a big part of the win against the Gators was the defense. The front seven, I just thought was really great. They showed how much their weight gain, how much their strength gain, how important that was. Guys like Curtis Porter, Olsen Pierre, the linebackers, Jimmy Gaines, and Denzel Perryman was really active early on. Thurston Armbrister. A lot of these guys put on weight and strength, and it really showed itself yesterday. And, kudos to Andrew Swayze and Victor Ishmael and the entire strength staff for getting these guys to, look and feel like honest-to-goodness Division I top-level football players. So I've been waiting for a while. And, for all of you that were, hey, fire Swayze, he's not, well, come on. Please. If the guy's good enough to work out half the NFL, I think he's probably good enough to work out the Miami Hurricanes and get them correct. A couple other things, just things to tidy up. Obviously, the Hurricanes ranked number 15 in the AP. That was a surprise to me. Man, after being basically at number 26, so the first one receiving votes, to number 15, that's a huge jump. I'm not sure if the Hurricanes are worthy of being number 15 or not, but it is what it is right now. Of course, Al Golden wasn't going to really comment on that. That stuff is not important to him. He did say this, though. He said, listen, Florida State's obviously made gains in the ACC. Clemson's made gains in the ACC. Now it's our turn. Miami has got to be Miami for the ACC to be taken seriously. And obviously, Dabo Swinney for Clemson, the coach, after Clemson beat up on somebody, when asked about the ACC beating the SEC teams, Dabo said, good job, Canes, and threw up the U. So it's good, though. But Al realizes, listen, this program's not perfect, but it can reach the levels where, Miami will help bring up the ACC, and then all of a sudden you'll have 3 top teams in the ACC, just like you have some top teams in the SEC, and maybe the ACC won't be so far behind. Although you watch a game like in Oregon, Virginia, and you're just like, wow, there's a huge gaping crevice between the number 2 team in the nation in Oregon and a Virginia team that just was completely overmatched. So that was that. Another couple of things. One, it really looked like at times Duke Johnson got slowed yesterday. I mean, he was just taking a beating, just physically taking a beating. He got 58 yards, and every one of those yards he took a beating on. And it really makes me feel like I wish Danny Dillard were still here on this team, because this team needs a big back. They need a thunder to Duke's lightning. They need a bruiser, somebody that can just take some pounding, and that way Duke doesn't have to do it. Because, look, I know Duke has worked on his strength and conditioning and his stamina and all this stuff in the offseason, but somebody needs to be the guy to be the short yardage back, to bust into a hard defensive line. I know there's Eduardo, but, he's coming off a neck injury. How much do you want to trust that? Maybe Gus Edwards can be that guy, but I certainly wouldn't have given Gus the ball yesterday, not against that defense. That could have been heartbreak for Miami. So somewhere along the line, somebody's got to step up to be the big back. Maybe it's Mo Higgins. I don't know. But somebody's got to take some of the stress off of Duke Johnson, because he just cannot continue to keep taking a beating. Meanwhile, the Hurricanes obviously do have this bye week, and then it's Savannah State, and then it's South Florida, and they'll probably be favored in every game except the FSU game. So things are looking okay overall for the Miami Hurricanes. I predicted that they were going to win yesterday. They were going to win I thought they'd win by 4. They won by 5. Not to toot my own horn. Toot. But, I thought there was going to be a low-scoring game. So all of that happened. But I also feel like somewhere down the line, there's 2 losses for this team. FSU with famous Jameis, that's going to be a tough game. And somewhere else, I just it's hard until I see them not do it. It's hard for me to come here and say that Miami is not going to blow a game just because, whether it's a Georgia Tech or Virginia or North Carolina, whatever it may be. I just always feel like there's that game out there. In any event, I will eventually put some thoughts to blog post and add some written content to Kane Insider. But for now, you get to look at my lack of shaved, ugly, fat face as I break this one down. We have All Canes Radio coming up this week, Thursday night, live from Shake Shack in the Gables, 1450 South Dixie Highway, right across from the U, 8 to 9 Thursday night. Me, Harry from All Canes, Platon from Pro Canes will be there, and I've put in a request from Mark D'Onofrio to join us live at Shake Shack as well. We'll see if he can do that. If not, maybe another assistant coach will join us. We might get a little call-in from Brock Berlin, and we'll see who else decides to join us live at Shake Shack. We hope you'll be there as well. I know Harry at All Canes is getting those t-shirts in with the final score against UF printed on them, so maybe we'll have some of those to give away. In the meantime, we hope you enjoy all the content on Kane Insider, and look for more tomorrow as I finally figure out what the hell is going to come out of my brain and then through my fingers to the typewriter. I guess I don't use a typewriter anymore. It's probably a keyboard and a computer. We'll figure out what can flow out of my fingers tomorrow as I figure out what to write in a blog post for Kane Insider. So for me, for Brandon, Victoria, all of us at Kane Insider that had a blast yesterday covering the game for you. We'll see you next time right here on CaneInsider.com.